Heyo, we're back, and when we last left off, the game had officially fucking begun, because we got that blue fucking jacket at long last. And that's all I've been caring about for the longest time for some reason. I don't know, maybe I assumed that bounties would open up, or we'd get some extra side content to do. As, like, you know, day-to-day Shinsengumi kind of duties. I don't know. That'd be amusing, at least. Yeah. I don't know, maybe I'm just excited to get to wear blue. This looks like such a cool uniform. I would love to own, like, a real-life costume of this, a cosplay or something like that. I'd probably have to browse, like, the Japanese internet to find a store that would do Yakuza cosplay from this game. Because, like, it's so new, and no Western cosplay shop is gonna have this because this game isn't even out over here, and it's, like, such a niche audience anyway. Pretty much everything I could find is from some bullshit anime that I don't give a fuck about because it's some modern-day high school drama bullshit that no one fucking cluttering up all the actual history shit that everyone wants to know about when they're googling the Shinsengumi. Anyway, yay. Time to begin. For some reason, him donning the uniform... Yeah! Oh, it looks so cool! Look, the fucking fabric has physics over his sword! That's so badass. I don't know why that's so cool. I'm gonna give this dude some fish. My first official duty as a member of the Shinsengumi is to give this guy some fish. Here you go. Get out of my face. Pansy. Oh, hey, it's that guy we gave directions to. Remember him? Well, now I'm a member of the Shinsengumi, so I've got even more official directions to give you. Bye! I'm so jazzed about being a member of the Shinsengumi now. I don't know why. I don't know. But it's awesome. Let's get in a fight with some guys. Hey guys, guess what? We have lawful permission to kill you now. If you fuck with us, the law is on our side. Not that Japan really had law enforcement, as we would consider it, at least, at this point. That didn't come until the Meiji Restoration, after all. I see. It drains a little bit of the heat bar to add a little extra punch to those moves. I never noticed that before. That's why I've been complaining that you lose heat faster than you build it. Apparently it's because I've been using up heat without realizing it. So instead of gaining heat, you've been spending it when I had been expecting to have been gaining it. Look at all these puppy dogs. I can't handle these puppy dogs. Let's spend time with this cat. I like this cat. This cat's pretty chill. He likes hanging out at the bathhouse. This is a cat that ain't afraid to get some wrinkles. I respect that in a cat, right, kitty? Hey, I'm talking to you. Yeah, that's right. You look at me when I'm referring to you. Not all cats do that. She just did. Take my word for it. You know when you're saying, hey cat, and their ears twitch because they fucking heard you, but they don't look at you because they don't give a fuck? It's hard for me to remember, like, how much is in frame here. Kinda wish I had a real camera instead of this shitty webcam. It's all low quality and have to keep it all close so you can't see my wild gesticulations. So yeah, speaking of law enforcement, Japan didn't really have that at this point in history. They pretty much ran on the class system. You know how it was. I talked before about how there were 4 classes underneath, like, you know, the nobles. Of the common people, there were the... Oh god. Why are there so many animals? Does it need medicine? Oh, an egg. Here, dog. This egg will probably help you out. It's got protein. Yeah, loves that egg. I don't know if it's healthy to give dogs eggs. He's got a name tag, though, so he must belong to someone. Man, I have a whole bunch of friendship gauges with animals all of a sudden. I don't know how that works. So naturally, the samurai were at the top of that class structure. And what that basically meant was they had the power of life and death over the average citizen. So if a peasant or like a farmer or someone accidentally poured water from a ladle out on a samurai, they were within their legal rights to cut that person down without a second thought, without repercussion. And who would give them repercussion, right? Aside from, like, official, like, shogunate representatives, after all. Only other samurai really had anything to do or say about what samurai were allowed to do until you got, you know, government officials involved, and they don't really give a fuck about what samurai do to the common man. Which is kind of short-sighted, because if they kill a farmer, who's gonna make the food that harvest, right? I always kind of want to focus on the styles that I am not leveled up in, since I want to keep them all relatively equal. That uses up a lot of heat. So, speaking of, even, like, indiscriminate murder wasn't really punished all that often, unless there was a direct witness. There wasn't really any kind of forensic investigation that would happen. In fact, if the person who was murdered was low enough in class, no one would even care. Like, it'd pretty much go unsolved, which pretty much meant vigilante justice was the only kind of justice that ever got anything done. Up until this, when we get to this point and have the Shinsengumi running around, they, aside from, you know, just samurai who have mastered or, oh, we're fighting near someone who's a friend of ours, so he threw us a health item. That's cool. Unless a samurai was working directly under a lord and was working under his approval for whatever means, the Shinsengumi were probably one of the first organized samurai groups who weren't officially beholden to a master and yet were an organized group of quote-unquote peacekeepers who were given official authority to act as the, you know, arm of the law, so to speak. Of course, after they lost and the shogunate was kicked out of power and replaced by the Meiji Emperor, the samurai class was completely abolished and an official police law enforcement structure was put into place. And after that, no common citizen who wasn't a peacekeeping officer was even allowed to carry a sword. Kiryu running around in the outfit also brings to mind a detail I had mentioned before, where I remember saying that Kiryu had a dragon tattoo on his back. Not sure which came first, him being known as the Dragon of Dojima or the Dragon Tattoo. But obviously he does not have that tattoo in this game, because samurai didn't have tattoos. In fact, barely anyone had tattoos. I'm sure it wasn't impossible, but, you know, just uncommon. Especially since Yakuza, as we know them, weren't really a thing at this point in history. The Yakuza, as a organized crime group, only appeared in their modern incarnation after World War II. And they actually heavily integrated themselves in the Japanese social structure in what... I knocked that guy's weapon into the water. In what they contributed to Japanese society after World War II, since obviously after World War II, Japan had lost and been bombed to shit, and had pretty much diplomatically been ripped to shreds by the peace treaty, which, you know, not uncommon. The losing side always gets the short end of the stick, because what the fuck are they gonna do about it? But if you've ever seen Grave of the Fireflies, you know that post-war Japan was not a fun place to be or live. Both because the government was relatively in shambles, and because of the occupation from Allied military forces as well, who were sticking around to, you know, make sure they kept their end of the promise, I suppose. It was during that time that the Yakuza really started to emerge as a group by more or less providing the more black market underground needs of a society that was so under martial law by an invading force. So, you know, they provided the sex trade, the drugs, gambling, that kind of deal. And they were so integral to Japan kind of recovering from the post-war era that they've become a pillar of Japanese society. Like, one of the 3 pillars. Like, I forget what the other 2 are, but it's like government, something else, and the fucking Yakuza. They are in there. And so it's always kind of fostered this kind of like lesser of 2 evils mentality towards them, where the police even, like, if you're from the West and you're used to how Western law enforcement deals with organized crime, even just based on popular culture, you'd probably have your mind fucking blown seeing how it's handled by Japanese law enforcement dealing with the Yakuza in Japan. Like, I believe my favorite description of it was like in the 2 Best Friends playthrough of Yakuza 4, which is amazing. You should go look at it. They talk about how, like, it's weird, like, the Yakuza have an office, like it's an office, and you go in and you, like, fill out an application, like, I want to have a job here, like, it's official and everything, and they got paperwork with a seal of approval, that kind of thing, and they really do. I think my favorite story comes from Tokyo Vice, which is a novel by Jake Adelstein, who was an American Jewish reporter on the Tokyo police beat of the press. He was a journalist. And he had a story in his book talking about how there was a raid on a Yakuza office for information, and the police, like, called the Yakuza beforehand, told them they were coming to raid, so get ready. So the Yakuza, like, cleared out and destroyed the documents of everything they didn't want them to find, and then set up everything that they were, like, okay with taking, had one guy stationed there to kind of, like, oversee it all. So there's a Yakuza guy standing outside the police department as the cops are just taking out crates full of documents, and he's like, okay, I'm ready to be arrested. Of course, that's changed a lot in recent years as the romanticized view of the Yakuza has kind of waned, as the reality of the Yakuza has gotten closer and closer to what we Westerners would be familiar with when it comes to organized crime, as in obsessed with its own self-importance and dumb as fuck. Ooh, I want a gold plate. Gonna sell that shit. Okay, bitch, calm down. Goddamn. Anyway, as I was saying, Kiryu has a dragon tattoo, and the Yakuza are pretty, like, known for their full body tattoos. In the game, it's only, like, his back. It's, like, from here down to, like, the waistline, and that's it. And that's not realistic at all. Yakuza, like, real Yakuza have full body, like, down to the wrist, over the buttocks, down to the ankles, like, every inch of unexposed skin inked. And that actually presents a bit of a problem for ex-Yakuza, Yakuza who want to get out of the business and go into a civilian life, because you can't exactly have that shit removed. You're permanently branded as at least a former Yakuza and just not going to be accepted into common parliaments or the civilian job industry. In fact, it's actually illegal for Yakuza to go to public bathhouses because, you know, fucking tattoos. The interesting thing about those tattoos is they are always applied in the traditional fashion that tattoos were, where they basically just took a fucking needle, dipped it in ink, and stabbed it into your skin. So it takes quite a long time for even a basic tattoo to get, you know, finished, let alone a full body tattoo. And it's still done in that fashion basically as a machismo thing, you know, a kind of like, I can take that pain, look at how badass I am kind of deal. And that's used to, at least, play a lot of importance in the Yakuza culture, where a lot of it was based around that kind of, you know, I can take it. I can take it for my status, for my family, for my brothers, that kind of thing. Naturally, as I mentioned before, samurai did not have tattoos, let alone full-body tattoos, let alone anything that would be familiar as a Yakuza-style tattoo. So, the interesting thing is, in Yakuza Kenzan, where Kiryu was playing Miyamoto Musashi, he had a kimono, where that had a stylized dragon on the back, that was pretty much identical to his tattoo from the main series, but it was just, you know, a cloth design on the back of his kimono. It doesn't appear that they're going for that, but it is pretty interesting. I do just kind of like the design on the back of his little uniform here. For that reason. It just calls to mind that. Although, I don't think he's being called the dragon of anything in this game. Probably more like the wolf, since, I said before, the Shinsengumi were known as the wolves of Mibu. So it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, Kiryu himself was the guy getting that reputation, like the wolf of Mibu. I don't know for sure, again, there's no way for me to confirm, because I don't speak Japanese, but that wouldn't surprise me. Being called the wolf of the pack of wolves, instead of the dragon, like he is in the mainline series. Okay, I'm assuming we're heading over to the Shinsengumi offices. You know, clock in, see what our duties will entail now that we're in. Didn't I say I wanted to use other styles? I feel like I fall back on the sword a lot because, like I said before, it's pretty much the default. It's the most like the style of combat used in the mainline series. The earlier ones just seem really gimmicky and not very... maybe just like very specialized instance for use. Although I do really like the gun kata thing. Just the sword gun in particular doesn't really seem like it's powerful enough to be useful 100% of the time. Although maybe you're kind of meant to switch between them all on the fly as the situation demands. Although there don't seem to be an overwhelming amount of situations that would specifically call for this style. Oh, that's just me. Again, there might be a more high-level means of using this style, and I'm just ignorant. Plus, I'm not using heat actions as much as I probably should be. That one's pretty good if you've got like a ton of dudes bearing down at you, and you don't need to worry too much about precision. Yeah, that's always a fun thing about this game, about these games. When you're wounded to the point of your health bar flashing red, that's actually reflected in the overworld, and you walk around all like, oh god, oh. Thankfully, we are right next to a restaurant right here. See if I can figure out how to get inside. How do you get in here? Someone help me. I'm literally going to die. Maybe he's our waiter. Yep, okay. Yes, 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 and yes. Cool. That healed us up. Completely. We would have been able to do that in Yakuza 4 because our health was that low, but I am just still totally appreciating the option to just clean out the whole menu of a place regardless of what the status of your health is. So useful when it comes to wanting to fill out the food completion list, which you usually want to do because it's not that hard and you get a pretty good item for doing it. I keep wanting to do some more cannonball training, but I looked it up and you don't actually get anything good from it. Aside from that first time we did it where we unlocked the ability to use the cannon, well, opened up that upgrade for us when we get to that point in the upgrade path of the revolver eventually. Aside from that, it mostly just gives you crafting items, which isn't not useful, but not really something I want to focus on right now. And you build up fast with the gun now. I'm having fun with that gun style. I don't know why I don't use it more. It's way better than the gun sword style at the very least. Yeah, I'm the Shinsengumi bitch. You don't bother old ladies on my turf. Not on my beat. Oh man, what happens if... which one is gonna get to us first? These guys or those guys? Oh no. Oh well. They were ghosts the whole time anyway. I didn't mean to get into this many random battles, but I am drunk, so the frequency is up now, so I have an excuse at least. Oh man, there's more guys than I thought. I don't know why it's harder to grab dudes. Try it out. Didn't have as much heat as I thought I did. This doesn't seem as useful because it doesn't really have any finishing moves. You know, like how the sword you can press triangle at the end of a square, square, square combo. This one doesn't really have that because triangle just... Oh shit! I didn't think you'd be able to do that. Apparently you can't. I thought it was integrated better than it actually is. Just kind of had the timing good for it. Plus the gun doesn't do as much damage in this style as it does in its own style. Yeah, I'm struggling to find the proper accessibility, usability of that particular style. At least right now. Maybe when it's upgraded, better. Just it and the unarmed fighting style I gotta work on a little bit more. In the meantime, this is the style I actually like, so... I don't mind playing favorites. This episode might go long because I do want to, you know, get into a lot of the Shinsengumi stuff now that we've got the blue on. Yeah, it might be worth it. One more upgrade point and I can get that cannon, which I do have in the wings. That might add a bit more usefulness to it. Yeah. Still haven't learned this. Should probably go visit Komaki sometime. Mainly though, trying to get to the Shinsengumi, clock in, you know how it goes. These fucking guys, try and avoid a fight with them actually. I'm sure there's a lot of sub-stories open to us by this point. It is like chapter 5. And we haven't really been doing a lot of in-depth looking into it. But I've been kind of on the fast track here, trying to focus on the story. And now that I'm actually up to the point I wanted to be at, now I'm like kind of interested in just free roaming a little bit, seeing what we can see. I should probably stop for some food. What kind of sword do we have? We have a lot of swords. I'm not sure how many I can upgrade. Nope. Nope. There's a restaurant right in front of the Shinsengumi place. We'll eat there. Oh no. Wah wah. What? You lost your toy? I don't care. Get away from me. Oh, what? I don't care about your life, kid. Yeah, here. Take, I don't know what. Here's a potato. Go play with this potato. Seriously? You just ate that raw potato? Like by itself? Oh my god, I am so sick of everyone having a friendship meter. Seriously. I don't care. That was weird. Squeeze me? Yeah, let's fill her up. Get a little drunk at least. Yeah. Okay. Let's head on home. We've only just gotten here, and yet this place is already more home to me than that fucking hotel filled with people I don't care was, whatever. Normally I'd say see you next time, but fuck it, I want to get into this. Sup, buddy? Sup, comrade? Brother in arms? Yeah, he's gonna give me a tour. Yeah, we're using the walk button. Yeah. I'm down for this. I am so jazzed. I don't know why I'm so hyped for this, but I am. I'm part of the murder squad. The ruthless murder squad. This is great. I am so down. Man, I want to find a fucking costume shop that'll make this. Because the ones I've been finding online are not this good looking, don't have the design on the back, they aren't as dark blue. The ones I've been finding are really, really, really sky blue. These are at least a shade darker. Yeah, here's the barracks. I've already got a room. And training ground, obviously. Or at least the skirmishing ground. Hey look, we took off our shoes. That's adorable. We have the magic disappearing and reappearing shoes. I'm psyched about this. I don't even know why. I just... It's like Hogwarts, but for political murder. It's great. It's like Dumbledore's army at Hogwarts. Man, I should reread those books. It has been a long time. It's been a long time. And the movies were terrible. Ooh, what's this place? Like a storage shed? What's in here? Ooh, maybe the armory. It's cool. Something at least. This place is cool. I like the layout. I like everyone just, you know, sitting around talking to each other. They're just cool guys. They're just cool guys. That's something too important. I want to talk about that too. In regards to the Shinsengumi, how I mentioned before, how usually history is written by the winners. And yet, the Shinsengumi here were the losers, and yet they get remembered as heroes and romanticized throughout history, and even have their deeds embellished and their badnesses whitewashed, even though they lost, which is weird. And yet, you kinda, if you look into some of the blogs dedicated to, like, the historical versus fictional depictions of the Shinsengumi, you see kind of a lot of weird resentment towards them, you know? Or at least towards the culture that's embellishing them. It's kind of like, you know, hey, these guys sucked, why are you making anime about them and stuff? And I don't know, I'm not gonna act like I'm so above it all, so impartial, so, oh my god, what is this? No. What is happening? What is this? What is this Facebook game? Someone help us. What? Who? We got this from the DLC guy. Yes, there's things. Okay, what? Oh no. Oh, hello, hi. What do we have here? And we can, okay, let's do that then. Oh, okay, we'll do that one. That one? Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's okay. This is scary. I don't know what's going on. Yes. Go there. To that one. And send this. Use this deck. Okay? Are we gonna get into a Yu-Gi-Oh battle? What's going on? Oh, we game playing. Play the game. Oh, I can see it on the screen here compared to my TV. It actually cuts out. There's actually like a Okay, and the cards do things. I don't know what's happening. Well, we're playing the game at least. We're fighting dudes. Okay, that's all I need to know. It's a battle dungeon. Don't gotta make it more complicated than that. Fucking, I am down for a battle dungeon, baby. I wonder what this is being framed as. We're being sent out on a mission or something? And I got distracted by crazy Facebook game shenanigans. Well, this is simple enough for me to understand. Nice little battle mode for me to sink my teeth into. That's what I was looking forward to when it came to joining the Shinsengumi. Speaking of, I was in the middle of talking about them. I don't want to act like I'm so, like, objective and above it all when it comes to, like, you know, considering historical depictions or one another, and I have been known to rage here and there about inaccurate historical, thingamajiggers. What's the word I'm looking for here? It's kind of late, my bad. But, you know, like, when things are portrayed inaccurately, I have been known to go, meh, points off of that for you. But, you know, there's a difference, I think, between, you know, historical inaccuracies and historical embellishment and being mad that people like a certain group of historical figures. I mean, like, I'm someone who Andrew Jackson's my favorite president, and not because I approve of genocide of an entire race of people, but because I just found him to be a fascinating historical figure. I find him to be a very interesting human being to have lived in the time that he did, considering what he did with the position of power he had. It's interesting to learn about, you know? I'm trying to think of another example. Like, oh, I know, like, for example, a lot of people would name, I keep going back to this, a lot of people would name the Joker as their favorite comic book character. And it's not because they think he's a good guy. It's not because they're Draco and leather pantsing him. They are just fascinated by what he does and what he's capable of and how he's depicted. Enjoying a certain historical group and being interested in what they do and wanting to learn more about them and even kind of celebrating their deeds, or at least their existence at the point of history that they existed in, doesn't mean you're kind of like right off the bat automatically going, eh, you know, they might have did this stuff, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, the general impression I get from those articles is just like, everyone who likes the Shinsengumi is an idiot who doesn't know anything about them historically, and blah blah blah. They're celebrating murderers and they don't know anything, and it's like, dude, there's a difference between being a fan and being a supporter. I don't know what we're doing when we use that. And I do, and I would say that I'm a bit of a fan of the Shinsengumi, but I am aware of what they've done and what they did and how it wasn't okay. There's a difference between that and, like, you know, blind fanaticism, like, people who learn about the KKK and go like, hey, they had some good ideas there, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between that and going, this is fascinating historical shit that happened. Why would people join this stuff? What did they do? And what's the political environment that they were in that encouraged them to do this? What's this movie, Birth of a Nation? Maybe I should watch that. It's like researching the Nazis and reading Mein Kampf. Yes, it is very informative considering that subject matter. And if you're interested in that subject matter, it makes sense to want to look into that shit. Although I guess there are certain scales here. I don't think the Shinsengumi were quite on the same level as the Nazis. Although I guess that's subjective. Atrocity is in the eye of the beholder. Like, I remember getting into a debate once when a forum I was on kind of did a thing for September 11th. And he was Australian, so he was like, well, no one's, like, doing a little dedicated day for the, what's the word, cemetery that's dedicated to child soldiers lost in this war. And it's like, any death is a tragedy, any war, any loss of life whatsoever, but there's a difference between lives lost in a war and innocent civilians being hit for no reason out of nowhere. Oh god, there's a boss fight. Sorry, getting distracted here. That wasn't my final point. Why am I still doing unarmed? We can still use items and stuff, so I don't know why they do the card game thing. Ooh, what is this? Whoa. Sorry, now I'm focusing on this. So I'm getting distracted a little bit. Oh, I didn't notice we had this opened up. Should start focusing on this path, I suppose. And where's the unarmed style? There we go. So, anyway, what I wanted to start out saying with that whole topic was, I'm not really of the mind to categorize history in terms of bad guys and good guys, you know? And that's the feeling I got from those blogs that talk about the, you know, kind of outrage at the depictions of the Shinsengumi in modern day, where they were painted as, you know, protagonistic. Where they were like, dude, they were the bad guys, what are you idiots doing? And I'm just like, no, that's not how history works. Sorry. Like, these were real people who really existed. They weren't, you know, tropes. They weren't cartoon characters who you can categorize in terms of black and white like that. They were real people who really lived and really did these things for a variety of different reasons and motivations. That's what I thought of when we were just wandering around the camp, the home base there, seeing all, you know, all the dudes just congregating, talking to one another, practicing, just being like normal everyday schmoes, really. They're just, you know, outfitted in this corps that served the person leading the country at the time. Not an unreasonable desire or faction to want to be a part of. Especially considering they were kind of heroes of the Commonwealth. You know what I mean, like the common man, considering they did help prevent the burning down of one of the major cities. So, it's like how in Star Wars, all the cronies of the Empire, all the stormtroopers are painted as bad, and they deserve to die because they're all uniformly evil because they work for the bad guys. And even then, I'm not saying the Shogunate are the bad guys here. I'm saying, like, but then you remember those scenes where they were just, you know, talking and having interesting banter with one another and being like, there's another training drill? I don't fucking know. Like, they were just dudes, you know? They clocked in and they clocked out at the end of the workday, just like everyone else. So it seems like slightly no to me to, like, look back on these people who lived, these real people, and be like, bad guys. You are bad people for liking these bad guys who are bad guys. You know? It's weird how, like, shows like Game of Thrones can come along and present us with moral ambiguity about its characters, and yet we look at real-world history and view it in such moral absolutism. It's not really a thing with me, you know? Or at least I try to avoid it when I notice myself doing it. I'm not saying, like, I'm immune, I'm so much better than everyone else. I think I'm gonna want to use these DLC ones I got. Like, like this guy, and this bald dude, who's actually a character I recognize from the old games. And this demon mask guy, yeah, we can stick with them, they'll be our team. Let's do some more battle dungeons, that was fun. Again, I'm not really sure what the context of this is or purpose, but you know, combat in Yakuza is so much fun, and there's so rarely times in the games where they just say like, hey dudes, here is a fucking just stream of combat for you to go through, and it's fun, get on it. And this is one of those times, so I'm not complaining. Plus I can, you know, roleplay as Kiryu going in there, charging as a lone army guy, the Shinsengumi rooting out the fucking thieves' den. Pretty fun, pretty awesome. I'm enjoying myself. Ah, this is so much fun to play. What needs upgrading? Everything's pretty even, so naturally I'm sticking with the, sword style by default. Man, I'm doing a lot of damage. Is it because of the cards I'm using? Maybe the cards I'm using, like, have an effect of that nature. Not 100% sure. I mean, it seems kind of Facebook gamey to me. I honestly have no idea. Hey Sega, another reason for you guys to localize this. What the fuck's going on with this crazy card collecting shit? Card collecting, dungeon crawl, what is even? I mean, seriously. Oh, shit. Oh. Do we get experience for this? I think we can, at least the styles leveled up when we were in here. And I think we might have leveled up normally as well. Oh, we got all of the stuff, so... That was kind of a short one. Oh, shit. Spoke too soon. Fuck you. Samurai cowboy. Samurai cowboy. Samurai cowboy. Stabbing you and shooting you and stabbing you and shooting you with guns and swords. Samurai cowboy. That blue jacket, these weapons, give him a hat, and he's good to go. That's gonna be my cosplay next year. Shinsengumi Cowboy Samurai. I'm gonna see if there's a screen adjustment in the options. Cause like I can very clearly tell with the cards being cut off by the edge of the screen and not being so on the recording here, that there's some adjustment that's gonna need to be done. Okay. This has been going long, but I said it would, so you've no one to blame but yourself. I'm gonna cut it off here, and when we come back we're probably gonna keep doing more of this, because it's fun as hell. Fuck all of you. It's great. This is what I've been looking forward to. Sure. Let's find a save spot. Oh, we have a fucking room that we can stay in. That's right there. That's right next to this shit. So how about that? It's almost like they knew. So, I will see you guys next time.